We'd Rather Be Reading. I'm Jerrica.
And I'm Lia. And I'm already lost.
Lia's in space today. But that's okay because I am here and I have so many thoughts that I think I might be talking over myself during this episode.
You even have notes.
I have notes. I highlighted through this book.
I was like, I think I've started taking notes for this, but I don't know.
No, I highlighted through the book. So to back this up, we wanted to read a romance book, and I was reading something that was like just didn't have any, like it didn't make sense. It had no chemistry to it. It was a mess. And you said to me, you got to read this book that's called The Idea of You. It's also being adapted.
It's being adapted. It's by Robin Lee.
Yes.
And it's being made into I don't know if it's a TV show or a movie, but I know that Anne Hathaway has been cast for the main female character. Solène, but they renamed her. Her name's going to be Sophie in the...
Stupid.
Yeah.
It needs
I was like, this is stupid. I started reading about, like, after I finished the book, and then my husband comes and he starts, talking about the adaptation, and I'm like, what? No. Sophie?
But also Anne Hathaway, like, okay. I have so many issues with the like, history behind the character of this book. About her, like, where she comes from, her language, where she lives right now, and her, like, affluence, because she's French. Her family is from France, and they live in Michigan.
Yeah, but they moved there because they're professors, right?
And she was born in Michigan. So she's American.
Is she born? Oh, maybe. She was very little when she moved.
She's American.
Yeah.
And, like, Michigan American. I think it's Michigan, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's Massachusetts. Okay. I think they're at like Harvard or one of these universities.
Boston. Okay, but that makes it even worse anyways. the author...
like I said, I don't remember. I mean, I remember a lot of these books.
These parts that I was like...
These parts
that I was like really picky on, you like... blew through it and it didn't matter to you.
No, not even a little bit.
All of my highlights of this book are language that the main character uses that she wouldn't use if she was French coming from America.
Fair enough. And just to put this in here in the beginning, I did know this going into this book, but it is allegedly has been disputed, but fan fiction about Harry Styles, which then makes this the second fan fiction of Harry Styles book series. The other one is a series that we read and talked about on this pod.
Literally.
Which is weird because
too many
don't even like Harry Styles.
No.
I have no interest whatsoever in One Direction or Harry Styles or any of that, and have never even found him attractive. But now after this book, I follow this account on Instagram called Shit You Should Care About, and it's these two Kiwi girls, and they do politics, like current events, stuff like that, but they're also obsessed with Harry Styles. So their social media is like, you should care about this political event. Here's a picture of Harry Styles. So now I get a lot of Harry Styles on my feed, and now I kind of see it after this book.
Do you know what? It makes me feel like I know Harry Styles from reading this book because it is so specific in that character of being a part of a boy band and the everyday life and the, like emotional struggles and social struggles and the way you have to adapt as a human being, also coming from like an affluent background and being a posh boy. They're all posh boys.
I have no idea. I know nothing about One Direction.
I
know nothing, so I don't know if this is true. I know that this book, The Idea of You, felt much more real. Harry Styles could be Harry Styles. I picture Harry Styles rather than the After series, which is the other one, where they named him Harding, and he's like weird and
alcoholic,
abusive-ish, and like he practically rapes her, like he lies to her all the time, like not good,
and just so obsessed with her gaining weight.
She's very obsessed with her weight. It's a very weird thing, but like we said many times about After we have to
stop talking about
After is Anna Todd's wet dreams about Harry Styles put in a book form,
and
whereas this one is probably Robin Lee's wet dreams about Harry Styles. but much more artistically put into a book and much nicer to read.
And I have to say, it's not exactly wet dreamy, because even though I have to say, you promised me porn, and
it was freaking porn.
There was okay,
it's
guys,
porn.
I need you all to read this book, and then we need to make a Facebook page or post or Instagram page that talks about what Lia thinks porn is. Because I feel like now I have this insight on Lia's extra vanilla life. In the porn she watches is just people talking to each other. They may or may not get their clothes off, and then the camera is not even on their naked body. The camera is instead on a piece of art and the view, which is what Lia wants to be looking at while she's having sex, apparently. And that's
not true. This is not what I took away from this book at all.
Okay, there was a lot of sex in this book. There was one scene, and this was the most explicit scene ever. He licks her from her butt to her vagina hole. And that is the only description of sex in the entire book. Every other time, true.
Yes, she literally says at one point have
sex.
That she has a what is his name in this book? It's Hayes. She has a Hayes penis-shaped vagina. This is literally how she talks about herself.
But she doesn't say that his penis goes in the Hayes.
Yes, she does. It fits so perfectly in there that she is Hayes-shaped. Literally, these are words she uses in this book, because I was like.
But that's what she's saying. She is saying it, not saying like, oh, this feels good and has an orgasm and things like that. It's like everything in the book can be in a television show. It is like, Sex Life, the TV show. I don't think you watched it, but there's a lot of sex in it. Mm-hmm. And even though that's like basically porn, and there's like a lot of moaning and stuff in that book, in that movie or television series, I think it comes from a book or something like that, or journal or something. Anyways, all of the scenes in this book, aside from that one, can be on TV. So, guys, do not read this book because it's porn. It is not porn. There is a lot of sex in the book.
This is not true. It is still porn. It's just a different kind of porn. It's not the explicit kind of porn that you like in your freaking whatever things we never got over piece of shit, but where it's just gratuitous grunting and disgusting sex words in there.
But it's just like, I want all the sex words.
And the grunting.
I need my sex.
You want the growling and the grunting and the slapping and the skins flapping together.
For sure. Right now we're reading a book where he's having discreet sex with her on his patio in California, and his neighbors are on the beach enjoying the sunrise, and she's like, you're gonna have to like stop having sex with me. We're talking to the neighbors right now. And he's like, no, just make the blanket a little wider and I can continue. And I'm like, I love this couple. I love this sex scene. And you would absolutely hate it.
I would. I think most of these descriptions, first off, are, it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to have to go back to Rhapsodic now.
Yes,
this is how freaking far back we're going to go. Yeah. So, episode 1. No,
exactly.
3 minus 1.
Right?
Yeah. This is like the first ever the reason why this podcast exists.
And also the reason why we say section scenes, the reason why we talk about missionary sex with eye contact. It all stems from Laura Talassa's Rhapsodic.
Yeah. And this, for gratuitous sex scenes that are just boring and completely if you were there and you were experiencing it, you probably wouldn't be like, oh wow, so exciting. I feel like a lot of these sex scenes that are very descriptive are unbelievable in a way, because it's just everyone comes immediately from penis and vagina, which maybe some people do, but is this really it becomes too much like the pizza boy porn, if you want to do that, where immediately you're like and then you come right away because he showed you his penis and that was enough or whatever, it becomes
it's
unbelievable. Whereas in this, the idea of you the sex is there. It's always there. They're always having sex, these two. It's so much sex. That's basically all they do. And then they talk too, but it's mostly sex. But it's
because they hardly get to see each other.
As descriptive, but just her thinking about it and her recalling how it felt and how, you know, she does this a lot. It makes it a lot more real, and it also makes it so that you can picture it in your head what would work for you, I guess.
Yeah, okay. It's a like imagination station.
It's imagination porn.
Yeah, imagination porn. It doesn't like give you any detailed porn. It's
and it's also one of those things where what I love about books like this is that, Solène as a character, and we're going to talk a bit more about her, she is not very believable, I find. But Hayes, so the Harry Styles character of this book, he is very, I find, believable. As like he feels very real.
So real.
Like you could pluck him out of this book.
Yeah.
She's too, I'd say, I mean, I was still rooting for them and all of this and that, but and I was very connected to her issues in a way, because the thing with this book, the idea of you, just to give you a little bit of the premise, is that you have this boy band that's really big. It's kind of like One Direction, but that's not what they're called. They're called something else. I can't even remember. And Solène is this 39-and-a-half-year-old gallery owner in LA with an 11-year-old daughter. Divorced. And her ex-husband's supposed to bring the daughter and the daughter's friends to this concert in Las Vegas because he won in this bid, or this raffle auction, tickets with backstage passes where you get to meet and greet the band.
Right.
And then he comes and he's like, I can't take them, you're going to have to take them. So she has to go with the girls. So she goes with them, and at this meet and greet, Hayes basically starts pursuing her. And he does it like relentlessly and very, quickly. And he sees her and he's like, yes, this, you.
Yeah.
And she's very like, he's half her age, literally. He's 20. Yeah. And she struggles a lot with this age. And I'm just for... not that I'm looking to screw 20-year-olds. I mean, they're pretty to look at, some of them, but it's not that. But just her relationship with her daughter, and the fact that she has a daughter that's 11, and my daughter is 11. I was very connected to this. Maybe she's 12. So I was connecting to the story a lot in her role as a parent, how she's protected her daughter, what her daughter was subjected to with friends. Like I could connect with these parts.
Like you put yourself in the mom role, the way that she put herself into.
And then I could also be like, if I were to separate and then pursue a younger man, what would this actually do to my daughter? Like I could do the mental exercise and put myself in that emotional space, which made this book so much more real.
And you would, just like she did, likely sacrifice your own happiness for your daughter's happiness. Sure. Always. Every mother does that. Every good mother does that, at least. So I can understand that side of it. But I didn't feel like her character was even at all makes sense. Like she wasn't complete in any of the things that she stood for, believed in. No. She was a hypocrite. She contradicted herself constantly. And in the end, she did the most immature thing when she was supposed to be the mature person.
But did she, though? Because
she ghosted him. That's not mature at all.
No, but she was letting him go. And if you...
Okay,
I mean,
that's
to think
another
about
nicer
it like
word
that,
for ghosted.
Yeah, but...
Didn't answer his phone calls? Didn't answer his text messages?
He was trying to throw away too much for her.
Okay,
so
but
she was saving him from himself.
He's not her son, though. This was like the way that it ended made me think that she treated him like it was her kid, and she just pulled the mom card and the I'm older than you card and I know more than you card, and I'm going to do this because you'll thank me later in life for doing this because I'm wiser and older than you.
Yeah, fully. That's exactly what she did. But I think, and this is going to sound really funny to anyone who knows me, but I think I like these real books a lot more than I like the super fake romancy books. Like I always struggle whenever it's every man is the hottest man you've ever seen and all the girls are so cute and the prettiest girls will be your best friends and they will not be bitches at all. And like this is his fantasy land, and then the connection will be instant. And even though this man has never had a girlfriend before, he will fall head over heels for you, and he will be the most loyal and the most protective, and he will be all of these things. Like I struggle with these. Like I like it more when it's real, when it's a bit complicated, when it's actual real struggle and not the stupid complication which are usually in these books.
Right.
I didn't tell him about this, and then it breaks the whole thing, or, one word could have solved the issue, or whatever.
I think that sums up perfectly why the two of us have different opinions in romance books, because, and my husband has a problem with this with me, with the books that I read, and the movies that I like, and the TV shows that I like too, because when I am reading, or watching movies for that matter, I really like the most creative things that are not a part of my current life. Like, I like, not an escape to, like, because I need to run away from something I'm unhappy with, but I like an escape to challenge me to think in a different way, to not be stuck to the sadness of, like, everything in this world with, like, famine and politics and all of that kind of stuff, and, like, depression. And I don't mind when real stuff is brought into books, but I really like it when an author goes extremely creative. Now, when we're talking about romance, and of course I'm always talking about sex for those of you who know me, well, I like really creative sex in the books. Like, if it vanilla or goes over or missionary eye contact or things like that, it's like, yawn, this book was not good.
Fair enough.
But if the book can be good, but if that's what I'm there for, then I'm not getting what I'm, like, expecting, because I really like things that are extraordinarily creative. Just like that time I told you I read that monster book and he had a spliced tongue and you were like, disgusting. And I was like,
but I mean, it's weird. I've seen spliced tongues in real life. It is very weird. But what's funny about me liking my books reels is that I don't like my TV or my movie this way. Like, I am more in the, like, full-on proper rom-com. Like, I'm there.
No,
I love
stop it!
Reality TV. Like,
what?
Like, it is. I'll be reading my books and I'll be ignoring all this serious TV, and then my daughter will put on the Kardashians and I'll put down my phone and I'll be like, what are they doing?
That's awful.
Or, TLC, Pimple Poppers, I love it. Love it.
No.
Yeah, so I think it's very related to
balance.
but not TV. I mean, I can watch serious TV shows too, for sure, but I don't like it in my TVs and movies when every character is unlikable. Like this, I struggle a lot with this. When, like, my husband watches Industry. I think it's on HBO, I can't remember. But he watches Industry. And it's these young professionals in, like, a finance, like, really cutthroat finance, investment banking, whatever, business, or I don't even know what they do. I can't watch it. I find them to be despicable, all of these characters. Like, they make the stupidest decision. They fuck everyone. They fuck everyone over. It's just, I can't do it. And he's like, this is so good. This TV is brilliant. It's brilliantly written. And I'm like, yeah, but they're all unlikable. But I can read a book where every character is unlikable and be like, this was so good.
Yeah.
I understood them. But I think it's because I get to be in their heads. I think that's maybe the difference. Like, I get the motivation behind it. I don't know.
I don't mind watching TV series. Like, we watch Succession, the two of us, and you think all of the characters are basically unlikable.
I would not watch Succession. Like, I wouldn't watch it. My husband had to go back and rewatch season 1 and half of season 2 just to get me up to speed, because I refused to watch it the first time around. I'm like, they're all unlikable. I hate all of them. They're all dumb. I can't watch this.
They're all also extraordinarily extreme. Yeah. Like, and what Johan thinks, he likes the series though, but he, just like you with your books, he likes things to be more relatable and like something that's intelligent and he can understand that's going to happen in this world. Not somebody who is over the top loud and brash and like always witty and always funny or always charming or always like saying the right things, like those kinds of things drive him nuts in TV shows. And I think that it's so entertaining. Like I started a million years ago watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and they're so extreme, those characters. Watch it.
This is one of the shows that I can't watch it.
And I love it so much. Charlie Day.
So many of those episodes because that's all my freaking family watches. But I hate it. Like, I don't like it. I do not like it. Like, this is not something that I enjoy. Like,
oh my god,
they're all despicable characters. And it's like, not only are they despicable to the core, they're also stupid. So they will make stupid, despicable decisions over and over again. And I'm like, fucking learn from your mistake.
My husband is like, why is Charlie Day always screaming? And I was like, but that's his character. That's his like personality. He's always shouting at at everybody. No. Anyways, I love it. He hates it. So now I get you a little bit more. I'm just going to like put you in with a little bit of the Johannes.
Stick me in the Swedish box.
Exactly. Put you in the Swedish box. Oh, good gosh.
Damn it. So up in the Swedish box after all.
There you are.
There we go. Anyways, I really, really enjoyed this Robin Lee, The Idea of You book. I thought it was a very... I literally could not put it down. Like, I loved it.
I wanted to throw my phone all the way across the world when I read this book. Yeah, no. And you know what I did? I did something really hilarious, and I didn't even tell you about it because you would not have read it anyways. But I looked up how to get over a book coma after reading The Idea of You. I Googled that exact sentence. Because I was so fucking pissed off at this character, at this book, at her decisions, at how it ended, the abruptness. I felt like I was Hayes and I was fucking left in the dust. This was my emotions afterwards. Not saying that I don't think it was a good book. It was a phenomenal book because it made me feel all these things. If the book wasn't good, I wouldn't even remember it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I will remember all of the things of this book always.
This book will live rent-free in your head, and eventually will work its way up to a 5-star just from you having thoughts about this thing that's going to give you arguments and then you're going to win arguments.
But I hate it. I hate it, but it's good. But I hate it, but it's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I Googled how to get the fuck over this goddamn book. And it came up with this girl who I actually follow on Twitter saying, I can't believe I let somebody who knows what I like tell me I will like this. And I was like, oh my God, this is my life. I'm living this exact sentence. So then I click into the post and she says, these are 4 books that you have to read that are like the smut versions that will clear your mind from this book. And you will most likely always forget that you've even read these books, but I promise you that it will make you get over it. So anyways, one of them was this book called Pool Boy.
Pool Boy.
Yep. The cover is a boy laying down in a pool in his red shorts and his abs and his sunglasses. Okay.
Yeah, I can see the cover.
Okay.
I got a mental picture. It's still there.
So this book is about a woman in her 40s. She is recently divorced because her piece of shit husband cheated on her. Okay. And she gets the house, and she's actually very successful in her job. So she gets the house and is continuing living this sort of posh life. She also has a kid, and the kid is like old enough and is like self-sufficient and things like that. And she has a really good relationship as a daughter too. Anyways, she has a best friend that's also very successful, and the best friend has a son that is 20 years old. So this is like the same age range we're going for here.
20 plus 20 equals 40.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So basically there's the same characters, but not characters or the same situation, life situation. So in her job, she's something having to do with music management, agent, manager, something like that. She finds out that her best friend's son, this 20-year-old, is like a phenomenal singer-songwriter. And he hasn't told anybody about his secret singer-songwriting-ness. And she implores him to do this audition for this big country music singer. So this is like country music version of...
But is it like, so he's going to write songs for someone else, or is he going to sing it himself?
He's auditioning to be the start of the show.
Okay, so opening act.
Opening act. Anyways, and it go like, not to go so deep into the book, but he gets it. He starts to become successful. She's his manager. They're having a relationship. They eventually have to tell his mom that they're having a relationship, and he's like all in the way Hayes was. Like, no, it's you, only you. I'm in love with you. I'm obsessed with you. And she's like, but I'm a mom, but I'm a this, but I'm a that. Everything that's Elaine did.
Yeah.
And so the same issues are happening in this book, but there is explicit sex in it. That's very excellent. And then at the end, where he's doing like this big show and she's there and she's already had this we're not going to make it sort of like scenario go through her go through their relationship, and she is there for him, and then she says, I love you, and he says, I love you, and they decide to stay together. And I was like, this is what I needed.
Like, this was the book I was asking for. Okay, fair enough. Because I went from the idea of you, which I love, fucking love so much, to Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score.
Which
and the
I love
why
Lucy
I
Score
went
so much.
this route was because in Goodreads it was like, if you like this, you might like one of these. And this one was at the bottom. And I was like, Jerrica read this. She liked this author. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a good transition. It was just not.
They're nothing like you. They're nothing like each other at all.
They live in a fucking town called Knock 'Em Out.
Knock 'Em Out. The second one just came out, or is coming out shortly. I
don't want to read it. It's going to be more of the same freaking dribble. It was ridiculous.
It was amazing.
It was evil twin, good twin. Never knew you had an 11-year-old daughter.
Yes.
Twin. But it's okay. I'll just take this
care
child
of her,
in.
because
you
I'm
stole all my
amazing
money
person.
and my car and my clothes.
Yes.
But never mind, because this guy who won the lottery a few years back and is now super rich and owns half the town.
Yeah.
He's just gonna put you up in his grandma's cottage.
Yeah.
And then pee naked on the back stairs so you can watch his penis.
Sexy penis.
No, peeing penis, which I don't think a peeing penis is ever sexy. Do you know they're flaccid when you pee?
But they're like, they go a little bit.
Anyways, and then both him and his equally hot police chief brother will both fall in love with you.
Yeah.
And then every man in this town is knockout gorgeous.
Amazing
and every
town.
woman is a sister. You know,
there
in
for
it
you,
together.
Woman up.
They're like,
love this town.
I hate this. It's so stupid.
Love
and then
the
it's
town.
like she gets a job in his bar and he doesn't even know it because she gets hired by this woman called Trouble or something like that. And then they're all women working there, so all their periods sync up, and then they refer to it as Shark Week, and all the people in town knows when Shark Week happens, and they all avoid the bar
bizarre.
or are, extra nice to them because they know they're going to be fucking, throttled if they don't.
That part I didn't remember. I did not
terrible, so bad, very shit.
Fall in love,
good.
overcome, super romance.
It
amazing.
was not falling in love. It was her escaping her fiance at the altar and then jumping straight into another relationship with a man who kept telling her, I don't want a relationship. And then as soon as he drops her and she goes after anything else, he's like, oh, by the way, I do want a relationship. So asshole, piece of shit. This was shit. So shit. Did not like.
It was amazing. Everyone should read it.
Would not recommend.
I love Lucy Score. After I read that, I think I read 7 of her other books.
I would never read another Lucy Score book. No.
I'm even a part of the Lucy Score newsletter.
Yeah, never. It's never happening again.
But I gotta tell you, you want some porn, you read that book.
Boring ass porn. Fucking boring. Unbelievable, boring piece of shit. Yeah, no, not good. Not good.
Oh my gosh, I love this dynamic so much. How did we end up being so different in our romance book likes when in our fantasy book likes were the exact same?
Oh, almost. I mean, you're more Sarah J. Maas, I'm more Holly Black, and then
but I still love Holly Black.
And I can get by on Sarah J. Maas.
Okay, thanks. Lia and her skepticism and her wins again.
Then to cleanse my brain after this, I read a book called You've Lost a Lot of Blood, which is probably the weirdest piece of shit book I've ever read. It's pretty good, but it was so weird. It's written from journals and extract from a serial killer, and he's like chopping people up and he kills people throughout this whole book. And he's like, you've lost a lot of blood, but don't worry, I'll take care of you. And then he proceeds to killing them.
Oh, yeah, that is.
It was weird.
That is super weird, Lia.
Very good though. Very, very well written.
Okay.
Anyways,
well,
what are you reading now?
Oh, can I tell you? Do we have time? Can I tell you what I'm reading?
Yeah, we have 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. Are you ready? I was like so overwhelmed with the idea of you that I was like, I need to read all of the like smuttiest things that I can cleanse my brain. Okay, so
So you went smut and I went murder. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. And so it was on, I think it was on Amazon for some reason. It was like, since you've bought all these other smutty books, you might like this series. And it was like 99-cent deal to get all 4 of the books. And I was like, whatever. So I put it in my like little bloop bloop. And then I took a trip to Italy and none of my other books were downloaded. So I couldn't open my app on the airplane. And I was like, so I only had this. Anyway, so I started to read it. The first one is called Dr. Mitchell. Second one, Mr. Mitchell, because they're brothers. Third one, Dr. Brooks. And the fourth one, Mr. Grayson. And the first 2, they're not the greatest, but it sets a like precedent. The character development is really good, and it follows these 4 guys. They're involved in each book as well, and they fall in love in each book. And the biggest thing in these books is there's always something that the author has really, really, really researched about. Mm-hmm. So it goes full in on this, like, topic, basically. So the second one was about addiction. The first one was heart failure. Mm-hmm. The third one was amnesia. And the third one, Dr. Brooks, he is a neurosurgeon. And the female main character is a neuropsychologist. So it's an incredibly intelligent book. It is like the author did serious research on these topics. And the neuropsychologist main character, she's like the sunshine. Everyone loves her. Her name is Elena, and she looks like Elena from Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
And salsa dancer, super bubbly, and wild child too. So she goes like hella skiing, everything. Anyway, she goes skiing and runs into a tree and goes into a coma, and she gets amnesia. And because of all of the things that have happened that we know about the brain throughout this book, and we know about what the doctor's surgeries that he has done and she has been in on, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It is like, I couldn't stop reading it to know. And it doesn't like blow over like she has amnesia. Oh, now she remembers everything. It's sunshine and fucking rainbows. Like,
I hate those books.
It's nothing like that. Like she has a miscarriage in her coma. Like some serious stuff happens, and then he has to deal with all the real life stuff while she's in the coma. She comes out of the coma and she goes back 10 years. So she's 21. And she acts like a 21-year-old. She's immature. She like thinks that he's very, very hot and wants to have sex with him. And he's like, no, as a doctor, he knows this is not like the right steps to take. So there's nothing like that happening. Anyways, super well researched, character developed, written book with super hot sex in it. And the fourth one I'm on right now, it is even better. And I think that the author is just getting better as an author the more books that she writes. And they're standalones too.
I would read these, so you can send them my way.
Okay. Done and done. So that's what I'm reading right now. I'm on Mr. Grayson by Raylan Mark. You're doing a good job, Raylan. Thanks for these books. They have cleared my brain from the idea of you.
Which was an excellent book. Don't listen to Jerrica.
It was a good book. I just hated it.
Fair enough.
Okay, because I want happy endings, everybody.
You want happy endings? I don't care for those.
Well, welcome to the dark times in Sweden. The sun is going down and Lia's true colors are coming out.
This is true. I did read a book that I just finished called Indestructible Objects, which was very, it was about messy bisexuals, all about talking, polyamorous relationships, and finding your family's dark secret of potentially having one of 3 different people being your dad.
Oh my god, this sounds like my perfect book.
Yeah, there's no sex in it though.
Ugh.
None. But very good, very well written. And the narrator spoke so slowly that I could listen to it at 1.5
That's
speed.
nuts. That's nuts.
And it wasn't even weird. It didn't sound weird. It was excellent. It went by so fast.
Awesome.
And it was very good.
Awesome.
All right. So until next time. We're not promising it's going to be a week because, well, we keep breaking these promises. So whenever we see you next.
We see you.
See ya.
Bye.
We'd Rather Be Reading is an original podcast by Jerrica Seron and Lia Sanfö. Theme music for The Penguins, written and performed by David Allred from the album The Transition, courtesy of Erased Tapes. Please check him out on Spotify and check us out on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram at We'd Rather Be Reading and on Twitter at We'd Rather Read. You can also email us at we'dratherbereadingthepod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.